Howdy, everybody. How we all doing today? Doing well? Good.
You're
Well,
waiting
my
for a
name's David.
response, bro. Lol.
Yeah, why not? Wait for the people in the comments to respond.
It's like in
My
Spider-Man
name's
when they just
David.
pause for
Yeah,
clapping.
my name's David. I'm the co-host of Empty Screening, and this is my other co-host. How you doing today?
Doing good. Felt like interrupting every intro sentence you had there.
Oh, you're just fine. All right, today we're doing a top 5 Christmas specials slash movies episode, which I'm excited for. Love Christmas movies, love Christmas specials. It's been a while since we last did an episode, so Elliot, how have you been these past couple months?
You know, with finals, it always feels like you're in the trenches of World War One, which is, I think, very pertinent considering Snoopy was also in the trenches of World War One during the Christmas episode. So I think that was just preparing me for this recording today, and we're doing all right. We're doing all right.
Hey, I'm glad to hear it. I saw on your Instagram story a video of you with the camera riding around on roller skates. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean we're trying to shoot a little short because I did buy like a cinema camera this year. In fact, that's my webcam at the moment, shot in 6K for your faces, everyone.
Yeah, it
But
definitely looks a lot better than mine. At least definitely the lighting, but what can you do?
what can you do? Yeah, I mean, we threw a little script together. Unfortunately, it sounds like we're not even going to be able to get the actors back to finish shooting it, but I mean, I took what we got. I'm really proud of the shots. Like we shot inside of a taco time, and then for that specific shot, we wanted to kind of use a technique that I saw in a behind the scenes for the movie Weapons that came out this year. So
Uh-huh.
if you remember when they're in the bar, and she's running away from, I think, Benedict Wong, they shot that as she's running through the aisles with some cracked skater bro on roller skates going through the aisles. And I thought, dude, that's sick. We should do that too. And so we tried it. Honestly, it was one of the more jittery shots we had. So I'm trying to stabilize it a bit in post, but especially on a prime lens too, it was not exactly what we thought was gonna happen, but I mean, we did have some really good shots, and I mean, if we do release anything, I don't think we have enough of a story without some of the scenes we haven't shot yet. But I might just throw some into a reel. I mean, that's kind of been the story this semester. Lots of like half finished projects that will probably never be finished, but I might release some of pieces of it at some point.
Sick, dude. You'll have to show me the footage because I saw that clip and I thought it looked like a lot of fun. And
Yeah, it was a good
I do
time.
love that scene in Weapons, so I'm glad you're paying homage to that. That's fun.
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Game Awards before we got started into
Yeah, I
that. I
did.
wanted to hear your thoughts and everything.
Okay. Oh, I'm going right. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I think the Game Awards are quickly becoming bigger than the Oscars. And I think a big part of that is just because obviously like it is a storytelling medium, but they're showcasing things that are coming up. Like I wish the
Yeah.
Oscars had a lot more movies, but like the musical performances were super sick. And just the fact that there's so many indie games. I didn't realize because honestly, gaming isn't a sphere I've really been that into. I think this summer was the first year I like bought a PlayStation to catch up on the games that like I knew about growing up, but I just never had a chance or a means to play. And honestly, a lot of those were not as good as I expected. Like I didn't finish a lot of them because I think you had to kind of grow up on games to be as invested, but there are still those like really good ones. And man, even if I know I'm not going to play half the games that they showed there, I thought they looked really cool, and I'm very excited for the fans and whatnot. I get to see
Yeah,
those.
for
Just
sure.
think it's a really special. And the orchestral right before they announced Game of the Year, the flute guy was going ballistic, and then
Yeah, as he
Donkey
always
Kong
does.
Bonanza lady comes out and starts singing, and I thought it was very odd, and amusing, but still really good, you know. So
No, for sure. And it was cool because 2025 was really like the year for video games
yeah,
above like pretty much any other art form, this was the year for video games. Oh my goodness. Between, I mean, the obvious Expedition 33, which we both love, Hades 2, which was incredible. You had like a Nintendo, they released new hardware and new games as well, and those were fun. Metroid Prime 4, I'm playing through right now, and that's a
Ooh.
blast. But just like this was the year for video games, and so it was cool to have like a thing at the end of the year to celebrate the art form, and it was definitely fun watching through it. There were a few times where they announced some game, and I was just like, oh, this looks just like the game that they announced last time. It's like some Japanese feudal samurai game. But there were a few games that I was looking forward to. There was like a co-op anime 90s style anime game that looked pretty fun.
Oh.
There was the new Resident Evil game I thought looked pretty fun, and new Star Wars Knights of the Old
That
Republic game
one
I thought.
was huge. That was big time.
Yeah. Yeah, I was excited to hear about that. I haven't played any of the other games, but I've heard they're so good. And like a new modern one with like slick looking graphics and
Oh, it
everything,
was
I would
beautiful.
play the hell out of that. Yeah. Very excited to for when that comes out, if it ever does come out. So
I think it
we're
will.
excited about that.
The
Star
two,
Wars games are kind of notorious for being canceled last minute, so
uh,
I hope it will. I'm rooting for the game. It looks awesome.
I was gonna say the two that I mean that was one that was huge, but the two other ones I was really excited for were Tomb Raider. Although I feel like,
Yeah.
funny enough, I feel like the graphics were worse because I those are some of the few games I have played all the way through, like the new Tomb Raider trilogy, and I've played the old ones too. I really love Tomb Raider, and I think it's exciting to get a new one. I do think it looks like PS3 graphics, like not as good, but you don't
Yeah.
know. Hopefully, that'll be good. And then the other one, there was a game I played last year called Soma, which I think is probably the top three video game stories. And just like the
Mhm.
medium, it'll throw you in an existential crisis after you buy it randomly on a Steam sale. And it's one of the most powerful stories I think I've ever come across, to the point where I reached out to the writer. His name is Mikael Hedberg. He's from Sweden, and I had strep throat. It was 4 a.m. To line up the time zones, and we just chatted. His biggest advice to me, he was like, dude, to figure out what people want, tabletop role-playing games. You gotta write some Warhammer 40K and some D&D, and those are things I've never played. So I was like, all right. And you know what? I'm ashamed to say I have not followed his advice, but honestly, one of these days I'll probably check those two games out. But Soma, I don't know if you've heard of Amnesia: The Dark Descent. It was like the
No, I haven't.
OG. It was one of the OG Let's Play games. It was like a horror kind of whatever. So Soma was the same studio. It's called Frictional Games, and what they did, like the reception wasn't really good from what I understand, because it was more like playing on your existential fears instead of like jump scares, and so people just dogged on the game and overlooked one of the most brilliant stories, and something that forces you into decisions that are really thought provoking and really difficult. But now, all these years later, it's finally getting the respect, and they announce a spiritual successor to it in the Game Awards called Ontos.
Yeah.
And our boy Luthen, Stellan
Yeah,
Skarsgård,
Stellan
is doing the
Skarsgård. Oh,
voice.
yeah.
That might be, and that might be that's my hot take. That is the game I'm the most excited for that they announced in the
No.
entire 3 hours. That's the
I
one.
haven't played Soma,
You have to. You
so
should.
I need to.
It's like a
But
7 hour game that's really cheap.
I was really impressed by the visuals. It was like really twisted body horror type
Oh
stuff,
my
and
gosh. It's
I heard the
so
guy, I was
awesome.
like, yeah, I heard Stellan Skarsgård, and I was like, "Oh, no way, I love that dude." So, that did get me excited. I had forgotten about that game, but remembering it, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that was definitely one of the highlights for the evening, that announcement as well, for sure." So,
That's your homework. Play
I'll have to
Soma.
play. Is it on Switch? Is it on Switch too,
I
or is
think
it just on
I heard
Steam?
they might be adding it, but I know for sure it's on Steam. It's one of the few Steam games you can play on Mac, which is why I played it, because I don't have a gaming
Yeah.
PC. But man, get ready for some thought provoking stuff. Absolutely
All right,
wild.
I'm gonna download it as soon as this podcast is over. That sounds great,
Good
and it's not
man.
too expensive, right?
Nah, I think I got it for like $7, but I don't know.
Sweet.
It's always on
Let's
sale.
do
It
it.
came out in 2015. It's been out for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. All right. Anything else we want to go over before we dive into this holiday special?
I'm just gonna spitball a few of these things.
Yeah.
Odyssey preview came out. Actually, no, it didn't. It maybe it did in the theaters, but I watched it the way Nolan intended it, which was on Twitter in a Denny's. And I thought it looked pretty cool. Um,
I
the
haven't seen it
Doomsday
yet.
leak for that trailer, it makes me really upset. I think it's quite disappointing and lazy. But there are apparently 3 other trailers that are coming as well, so yay for that. The more I
Ooh.
hear about it, the more cynical I am. Stranger Things
I don't know
Volume
if
2. Um,
yeah, I don't know if I'll ever be actually excited for Doomsday, especially
uh,
since like Robert Downey Jr., one of the most talented actors in the industry right now, so talented, and I just think he's wasting his potential going back to the MCU. Like he had a great run. I love his Iron Man stuff. Not bashing him for doing Iron Man at all, but going back, I just kind of feel like was a cheap move for him and not what I was hoping he'd do. And I just feel like there's been practically no buildup for this movie
no.
either. Like there was
That's why they're
there
marketing
was
it as a
Fantastic
sequel
Four.
to Endgame.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's like so little enthusiasm I have towards Avengers Doomsday. And it just kind
Oh,
of feels like that's the general consensus
yeah.
across the board. I mean, maybe there's some people who are very excited for it, but like the average Joe, I don't ever hear anybody talking about it. So I don't think it's going to be like a smash hit for them like they want it to be.
Well, it'll make money, I
Yeah.
believe, but their budget is so overinflated. I don't know. And
Yeah.
now with Chris Evans back, it's like, man, I don't know how much they paid him.
Is
Uh,
Chris Evans back? I didn't hear
that's the
that.
trailer. It's him at Peggy's house, and he's got like a kid, and he's like looking at his Captain America suit, and they're like, Captain America is coming back for Doomsday, and I was like,
Ah, come
oh,
on.
that's so lame. And here's one of the
That is
reasons
so
I think
lame.
it is really lame, because I hated that part of Endgame specifically. I think it really subverted a lot of what I thought I knew about Captain America to have him just retire. I don't feel like he would do that, at least from
Yeah.
what they've showed us in those 10 years of Marvel. And can't help but feel like they're saying, "Oh, yeah, actually though, but he's coming back." Cuz
Yeah.
he wouldn't
No.
retire. I was like, "You idiots. You idiots. You guys suck."
I I think that's so stupid. Again, another super talented actor. I really like Chris Evans and just like he was done,
It
and he
was
had a good
done.
run and it was great that it was over, it was a good run for him. Just that he's coming back, it feels like what was even the point of Endgame then? Like that was
Nothing.
supposed to be a big conclusion and they're just unearthing it so that they can make another few $1 million and it just feels cheap. It's just a cheap franchise, honestly. So it's
Lame.
frustrating. Yep. Okay. Uh yeah, Doomsday trailer's lame. Stranger Things season 5, part 1. You know, I watched the season or the first half and I was enjoying it all the way through. I thought it was really fun. I liked the characters. The further I've gotten away from it though after watching it,
Yep.
the less I'm like, ah, it wasn't actually that good. I had fun watching it in the moment, and the more issues start rearing its head, the more I think about it. Like I just feel like it's not actually as good as any of the other seasons, except for maybe 3. Um, I don't think
It's better
it's
than 3. 3's
well, yeah,
I
that's
hate
what I'm
3.
saying. It is better. It is better than 3. But I still don't hate it. I still had fun watching it. But what I would originally have rated like a 6 out of 10 is now, or like a 7 out of 10 is now more like a 6 or a 5. I just kind of think
Yeah.
it's okay.
I really like how it's grounded in Hawkins still. Feels like kind of
Yeah.
cozy, which was a feeling that I had in the first and second seasons that you start to kind of depart from. And I feel like they
Mhm.
were able to recapture that. But again, there's so many problems, especially and the characters I feel like are flip flopping all over the place. Like Robin, I don't understand what they're trying to do with her because I feel like she's been so different in every season, 3, 4, and now 5. Except 5 is more
Mhm.
like 3, but still different. I think the military is just frustrating on every level. I hate
Yeah.
how in that last episode they show you that they have a room and an understanding of the Demogorgons and how like they do not do well with heat or fire. Yet all of them have guns that they know do absolutely nothing. So Vecna comes in and
Yeah.
wipes out everyone except for the main characters because the Duffers just have a big problem with plot armor. And then defining kind of the rules that it comes to the upside down creatures. They've never been able to do that, and that gives them the freedom to do whatever the plot needs, which is
Mhm.
lazy. And the dialogue is also really bad in the whole season. And get ready for
Yeah.
this because I guarantee you they're going into time travel for the next few episodes.
You think
Here
so?
is why.
Hmm.
They have a full scene with Erica where they explain wormholes. I don't
Hmm.
feel like they would linger on that unless that was pertinent. There are the Back to the Future references where Joyce is like, "Bro, the flux capacitor's out. What's a flux capacitor?" Wrinkle in Time with Henry, right?
Yeah.
And then
Ooh, yeah.
I even looked at the Lego set that came out, the new one, because I'm like, oh, I kind of want to see this. And Vecna's minifigure's holding a clock. And so I can't help but think they're gonna do time travel, which is just the
Interesting.
standard of what you do when you have no idea what to do next. And when
Yeah.
you that's what
It's the
that's
end
what
game
Endgame
effects.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's just
Okay, so
revisit everything.
I've
Nostalgia.
I've actually heard that as well, and I could definitely see it happening. I
I
hope they don't
guaranteed it
do
will.
that. I hope they don't, but I could see that happening. I'll tell you 3 things that I liked about the new season, though.
Okay.
I really liked, I guess, spoilers for people who haven't seen Stranger Things. We can link the timestamp down below so you can skip over this part. But I really liked the final scene with Will. I thought that was good payoff, especially
That's
since
fun.
they've done so little with Will over the past few seasons. It's good to see him like actually be relevant, and
Yeah,
I thought it was a fun conclusion to
I
the
agree.
to the first half of the season. Second, I really liked the scene where they beat up the Demogorgon in the house. I thought that was a lot of fun. Set up all the traps and stuff, and Steve with the chainsaw, all that stuff I thought was pretty fun. And then I
Yeah.
like I like the new kid Derek. I think Derek
Okay.
is fun.
Okay.
Maybe you disagree,
No,
but
no, no. He's good.
uh,
You,
I
do you
liked
think
I
they're gonna
liked the
kill
scene
him?
where they. I hope not. I mean, they do every season. They
I know.
introduce a
I
new
feel like
character
he's
that everybody
doomed.
likes, and then they kill him. I hope they don't do that. But I um yeah, and I liked some of the character interactions. Others I didn't love. I think the movie or the whole show looks less good than last season. Like
Huh.
last season, I thought stood out for being really well directed, looking really nice, and this season I think looks just kind of okay. Doesn't look bad by any means, but not as good as last season. So, but I think it's okay. I think overall, I'm excited for part 2, but I'm not
Yeah,
like
it's whatever
fighting
for
at the
me.
bit for it. Yeah.
I finished yeah, I don't know. I finished those episodes and I tried to think back to the other seasons and it's just been so long since I've seen them and I don't
Hmm.
have much of a desire to go back and rewatch them. Except for maybe
Yeah,
4 and
that's kind of how I
2,
am.
but even then it's okay.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Should we just hop right into the topic of today's episode
Yeah.
then? All
Do
right.
we
Well,
have
Elliot,
honorable mentions or are we just going to go
I
into
say
the
let's
5?
do yeah, let's do honorable mentions for sure.
Okay.
You go ahead first if you want.
Should we rotate off or should I just go through all the honorable? Because I wrote like different
Just
awards for these. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give you a medal. Good job, movie for being you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, go for it. I want to hear your honorable mentions. I didn't do medals for mine, but
Well,
I want to hear
I
them.
was just gonna say we did a Tim Burton episode, and I think there are two Tim Burton movies that could technically be considered Christmas movies, which are Edward
Yeah.
Scissorhands and Nightmare Before Christmas. Um,
Yes.
However, I feel like they are more Halloween movies. So I do
Yeah.
not put them into consideration necessarily. There's another one that walks that line of Halloween Christmas that I would say is more Halloween, which is The Thing. Being like stuck in a snowy place. I feel like it'd be a really cozy January, December movie watch, but it's not like a Christmas movie, though I feel like it could be if you want it to. If you truly want it to, and it's a great movie nonetheless. The award for bangin' elementary school party movie goes to the Polar Express, bro. Uh, there were so many years in elementary school where it's like, hey, we're gonna watch Polar Express and drink hot chocolate and with the marshmallows. Another cool thing about Polar Express, when I was younger, we went to the SeaWorld in Florida, and they had a Polar Express exhibit, which I thought was really, really neat. So shout out
Nice.
Polar Express, but it is nightmare fuel at the same time.
Yeah.
Um,
Those like early 2000s motion capture movies just don't really hold up super well to
yeah.
this day. Like there's a Christmas Carol one too that Robert Zemeckis did as well. Just like such an ugly looking movie, but Polar Express I feel like has enough Christmas charm that it still can win you over despite its
Oh
like
yeah.
kind of horrendous visuals occasionally.
It's a good story, I think. And there's some really cool
Yeah.
scenes, like when they're on the ice. I
Yeah.
love that scene. I relived that when we were on a one time I was driving on this road and there's just snow everywhere. To the point where you couldn't tell what was road and what was 5 feet of snow piled up next to the road. So you had to eyeball the clearing, like the little break, and just like hope you got it. And we didn't get it. It totally slid off the road, and we had to take it out like 5 snowmobiles. But I was like, "This is Polar Express. It's awesome. This is so cool." Let's see.
Nice man.
Oh, another Tim Burton one is a Batman Returns, but I'd say
Yes.
another one is Batman and Robin, which I rewatched this week. Because Arnie Freeze is a national treasure. I love that movie so much. It is horrid in the best way. In that category of horrid in the best way is Daddy's Home 2. I don't know why I like it so much. Rewatched it last night, but it starts off kind of slow, and every time I rewatch it, I'm like, man, maybe this just isn't as good as I remember. But that can't be true. I've seen it like 8 times. And then you get to the end, you're like, yeah, this is pretty funny. It's so cheap, but it's really funny.
Dude, we were in Klawock, Alaska, like checking out some bears and some eagles on a little trail. And you were bringing up Daddy's Home too about how much you loved that movie. And I was just like, man, I haven't even
Yeah.
heard of Daddy's Home too. So
You haven't
maybe
heard of
maybe
Daddy's
this is the
Home
year.
2.
Maybe this is the year I watch it. Who
You
knows?
should do it.
For
Let's see.
sure.
What else do I have on here? Jingle All the Way. Absolutely fabulous. I love Jingle All the Way. Peak Arnie again. Super quotable. You got what's his name? Jake Lloyd, who's the little Anakin boy.
I
Yeah.
haven't actually seen Jingle All the Way. That's one that I really want to
Whoa,
watch. But
that one
yeah,
you should watch for sure
okay.
this year. Jingle All the Way is so good. And then one
And
other.
I love Arnie.
Oh my gosh, him as Freeze and as his guy in Jingle All the Way is Turbo Man. It's special. I can't help but love it to death. Last honorable mention I do have, it's like a short that the church kind of did. It's called Mr. Kruger's Christmas. I think it's really
Dude,
sweet and kind of cozy, and you got some Motab in there, which is nice.
I love Mr. Kruger's Christmas. I wasn't expecting it to hold up as well as it did, but rewatching it, I was like, dude, it's got that Jimmy Stewart charm.
Yep,
It's got so many Christmas bangers, and honestly, just kind of a touching story as well. I still
Shot
don't
pretty
know
good
how
too.
Yeah, I don't know how they got Jimmy Stewart to do it
No one
or how they
does.
made it as well as they did, but like, dang, what a great little Christmas special. I love that as well. So,
Uh,
yes, shout out all those movies. Okay, I'll name 3. Um, first off, A Christmas Story. Didn't quite
yeah.
make the cut for me. Love A Christmas Story though. Super funny. Um, I said this in a letterbox review one time, but a lot of movies yearn to just have one iconic scene, like one scene that people will remember for years after. And Christmas Story has like 10 of those scenes, 10 scenes that
Yeah.
everybody talks about and thinks about and loves. So, Christmas Story. Number 2, it actually kind of pains me that this isn't on my list, but How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the
Oh,
cartoon.
yeah. Didn't make
Love
mine either,
How the
but
Grinch.
it's so
Oh,
good.
dude, so good. Just like peak Christmas. Love the music, love the animation. Dr. Seuss. Maybe if it was just like the children's book story that would make my cut. I don't know. I love How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Such a
What do you
classic.
think about the
And then
adaptations, real quick?
okay, so I haven't seen the Illumination movie, nor do
It's
I want to.
awful.
Yeah. And I think the Ron Howard movie, Jim
It's
Carrey is really
so
funny in the
funny.
movie and it's a good time. I don't like it as much as the cartoon, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I still really enjoy it,
I agree. Yeah, that's good. There you go.
Yeah, I like the
People
movie.
dog
It's
on it
it's
too
not like
much, I think.
yeah, no, I don't think it's a bad movie by any means, but I do think it's really funny. And then third, a movie I just barely watched actually. Satoshi Kon, he's an anime director. He made a movie called Tokyo Godfathers. Have you heard of it?
Uh, no, that's
It
a
might be on your
legendary
list.
title.
Yeah, Tokyo Godfathers, fantastic Christmas movie, super super funny. I think you'd probably like it. It's from the guy who made Perfect Blue
Ooh.
and Millennium Actress, Paprika, those movies, and I hadn't seen it and just absolutely loved it as well. So those are my honorable mentions. But
Oh, I just had another
let's hop.
honorable mention, and it
Okay,
pains me because I was like, I was trying to see if I could put it on my list, but I don't think it makes. It's Home Alone, which
okay, okay.
I it's hurts it. It hurt the kind of like what you mentioned with Grinch. It hurts me to not have it on the list. I just think the
Yeah,
other 5 I just enjoy more, but it's still one I watch every year. And we talked about
yeah.
Stranger Things kind of doing an homage to it. It's so good. And there's a Stranger Things or not Stranger Things, a Home Alone Lego set of the house that we have and it's really
Yeah,
cool.
and it looks awesome. I've kind of wanted to get that one. Um, eh, Same deal with the sequels. It's interesting. I
Oh
don't know if
yeah.
I can think
It's
of
like
another
7 of
franchise where
them.
like every single one gets worse. Like that's pretty impressive. Like that takes genuine
Knives Out.
skill.
Actually, no,
Hey, you
that's not
you
true.
haven't
Glass
seen
Onion's
you
worse than
haven't
the new
seen
one.
Wake Up Dead Man. You haven't seen Wake Up.
Yeah, I
Did you
have.
see Wake Up Dead Man?
Yeah.
Oh, did you like it?
No, I hate it.
Ah, man.
I think
Okay,
I
we'll have to
think
talk
it's
about that
in
later.
question for the worst trilogy ever made. You're fighting like Jurassic
No.
World and the sequels. Like it's remarkable how every single one of those movies is bad, and they made a
Oh,
trilogy.
dude. No. I love those movies. We should make an episode all about those movies sometimes. That would be
Yeah,
kind of
I'd be
fun. We could
down.
we could argue about that. Okay, let's hop into the top 5 though. You go first.
Okay,
What's number 5 on your list?
this is a newer one. And I'm sure you've seen it, but I think it's quickly becoming kind of a Christmas classic in a sense, at least a modern
Yeah.
Christmas classic, and that would be The Holdovers.
Okay.
I
It's on my list as well. Yeah.
Yes, I think Paul Giamatti. I mean, outside of the Rhino from Amazing Spider-Man 2, he pretty much exclusively delivers really good performances, and this is no
Yeah.
exception. But I think the story is really something special for what can you do in a modern day to tell a Christmas story that isn't about saving Christmas or that isn't about like a straight up comedy. Like this movie is funny. Like it might even be is it a comedy? Is that like the genre it's under? Or is it more drama?
I think it's considered to be like a comedy. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Now it
I
is
could see
really
it to
funny,
it's
but
it
I think
toes
it
the
is
line.
more
It toes the line.
touching than comedy. I don't think it's like a rude comedy. It's sophisticated with its comedy, if that makes sense. And I really think that's special, especially this day and age, to have something like that. where obviously like you want to be with your families and whatnot during the Christmas season, but we live in a world where there are a lot of broken families and a lot of really hard situations. And I think it's really, really special and touching to kind of see a modernized take on what is the true meaning of Christmas. And it's not pretty all the time. It can be messy, it can be uncomfortable, but I think it's good. It's really good. I love that movie.
Yeah, I love it too, and I'll share some of my thoughts when I get to that spot on my list. But that's one of my favorites ever too. My number five, you just mentioned it in your honorable mentions. I have Home Alone. Uh, Dude, so good. Now I remember loving it as a kid, but I hadn't seen it in years and years, and I rewatched it last year. And I was honestly just kind of blown away at how great it is. First
Yeah.
off, um, this is like the most Christmassy looking movie ever made. Every single shot is just drenched in reds and greens, and there's Christmas trees and snow and tinsel everywhere. Like, if you want a movie that captures the feel of Christmas, what Christmas looks like or should look like, it's Home Alone. And then the slapstick stuff, the stuff everybody remembers about it, is still hilarious. And honestly, I am kind of surprised that the movie is PG because of how brutal
Yeah.
some of the stuff in it is. Like the nail scene gets me squeamish every time. The fire stuff, like these are some brutal slapstick moments in this. Like
Yeah.
in an animated context, it wouldn't even
Ornaments.
phase you, but live action, oh dude, like there's some brutal stuff in here. And I love that there's like a serious bite to this movie. I love Macaulay Culkin's performance. I think
Yeah.
one of the best child performances of all time. He's phenomenal in the movie. And John Williams' score. I mean, come on. You got the John Williams on this film. And ultimately, it just kind of all comes together to be this like perfect Christmas movie that no matter what the season is, you can throw it on and everybody's going to love it. Adults, kids, whoever. I feel like Home Alone is just like that movie that perfectly encapsulates the Christmas spirit, which was a big criterion for what I was looking for when I was making this list. Like what captures that Christmas vibe better than other movies. So I love this
You
movie.
are absolutely right. Yeah. I adore it as well. For all the reasons you mentioned it.
Yeah,
Yeah, not much more to be said.
yeah, for sure. All right, number four for you.
Number four for me is Charlie Brown Christmas. Now,
Okay,
for a very similar reason, I think it's one of those where, yes,
not the vinyl.
the music is so special and it is iconic for Christmas. But just like, I just remember a lot of the scenes, the ice skating bits with the can and using the blanket as a slingshot. And then for whatever reason, we do have Snoopy 1v1ing the Red Baron in the trenches of World War One as a side quest, while Charlie Brown is looking for a tree. So
Yeah,
I don't entirely understand that. Like I did some research on it because I'm curious, like why did that happen? And they're just saying Schultz had like some World War One influences, and that's probably why he put it in. But it just seems strange for a Christmas special. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it fits perfectly. It's really cool. It's really cool.
yeah,
But I just think it's really sweet. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving might be the only one that contends with it, but it might be the best of Charlie Brown, which is very
yeah.
iconic and influential to uh just the culture that we have during not only the Christmas season but just Peanuts as a whole has greatly impacted American culture, and I think it's really heartwarming, special, and quite awesome. And it's not very long. Like I am always impressed when you're able to tell a quality story in a short amount of time, and it does it very well.
Yeah.
So shout out to them.
I agree, and it'll also be on my list here in a little bit, so I'll share some of
Hey,
my thoughts later. My number four. I'm curious if you have this on your list or not. I don't know if you do. I feel like it's grown in estimation for a lot of people over the years. But in my number four, I have The Muppets Christmas Carol.
hmm,
And I knew I wanted to have a Christmas Carol movie on my list because I love the
yeah,
story of A Christmas Carol. It's probably my favorite Christmas story.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
just the novel is perfect,
Yep.
like flawless. And so I was like, which Christmas Carol do I go for? And I went for the one that has Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy in it. And I think a big reason for why that is that it nails the heart of the story. Um, it is very silly, like all Muppets movies are, but it captures the joy of the story, the joy of change. And I've realized that a lot of my favorite Christmas movies and specials revolve around people changing their hearts, like
Yeah.
thinking one way about something and then turning around and becoming a better person because of it. And that's a Christmas Carol to a T, like the quintessential example of it. And I think they nail that aspect of the story. They nail Scrooge as a horrible human being. He's bitter, he's cold, and he changes and he becomes a loving and warm individual by the end of the movie. So I love that aspect of it. But then it also still has that lovable Muppet sense of humor. I love all the special effects that they do with the Muppets. It's always really fun as an adult going back and seeing like, wow, how did they even pull that off? That's crazy. And the music. I think the music in this movie is wonderful as well. All the different tunes and uh songs that they sing throughout the course of the movie. It just makes my heart happy every time I watch a Muppets Christmas Carol. So, Muppets Christmas Carol is my number 4.
It blows me away that When Love Is Gone was cut from the theatrical. I feel
Yeah.
like that's a really important moment that they were just like, yeah, we don't need it.
And
But
dude,
it's
it's
in the
not
DVD.
it's not on the streaming version either.
What?
Yeah, it's not on the Disney Plus version. I
I
watched it
always
the other
watched
day
the
and it's not
DVD.
on there.
I always watched the DVD.
Yeah. I know it's
That's
messed up. I can't believe they took it
deplorable.
off. It's horrible,
Scumbags.
honestly.
I
And it's
think
like one of the most impactful moments of the movie, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. I think you bring up a really interesting point when it comes to it being like the best Christmas story because I think I do agree with you there. And I think it is also one of the only moments where Christmas crosses over with horror. Because you think about like
Yeah.
Christmas is the opposite of horror. It's like bright and happy and it's really, I mean, Burton tries to do it with Nightmare Before Christmas. But like it's hard to combine those things because they are the antithesis of each other. Gremlins is another one where I feel like it does a pretty decent job. But Christmas Carol nails
Yeah.
the dichotomy of horror. It is truly
Mhm.
frightening with like these spectral things and just like being a bad person looking back on your life is a horrifying thought. Um, as well as like that joy that comes with changing and the Christmas spirit and the people that are making do with what they have. So yeah, A Christmas Carol is so legendary. But moving on
Yeah.
to my number 3, this one's mostly nostalgic for me, and a lot of people I've
Okay.
come to find out really dislike this movie. But it all goes back to when I was a wee lad. On Christmas morning, when I wake up the parents, I'm the oldest, and I was like, guys, let's do this thing. Let's open some presents. I couldn't wait. It's 3 a.m. Let's do it. My dad is like, dog, we've been up all night. We're gonna turn on a movie for you. And that movie was Elf with
Okay, yeah.
Will Ferrell. I think in terms of Home Alone, this might out Christmas it slightly. You just think of like Santa's village and the scenery, but when I think of Christmas, I feel like Christmas in New York specifically just kind of embodies that. And I wonder why. And I think it's because of Elf. I think Elf is
Hmm.
why a lot of people relate Christmas to Christmas in New York. But Zoe Deschanel
Interesting.
is a baddie. Will Ferrell is
Yeah, for sure.
hilarious. Walter Hobbs, his last name is Hobbs, which is my last name. And also, I think like so many of the jokes land. Like to
Yeah.
this day, they are very very funny, which is hard because Will Ferrell just kind of plays a. He's been Flanderized in a sense. He just plays a parody of himself these days. But that
Yeah.
was almost peak Will Ferrell. Everyone knows his performance in Elf. But yeah, the visuals. That's another one where the music I think is really really good. Mr. Narwhal, shout out Mr. Narwhal.
Yeah.
What a good friend. We all need a Mr. Narwhal in our lives, I think.
I love
Uh,
that it's the stop motion animation from like the Rudolph the
yeah,
Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon as well. Love
it's
that.
so
Such a
good.
great touch.
But every year since that year when I was like 4 or 5, we get up Christmas morning to watch Elf. We'll grab our stockings, munch on stockings while we're watching Elf, and then when it's 7 or 8 or whatever, the parents get up is when we would go do presents. And so typically we would start Elf a lot more than we would finish it. So I'm much more familiar with the beginning of that movie than the end. But nonetheless, I could not imagine this list without Elf. I think it holds up really good.
And Elf is not on my list, but I definitely really enjoy it and would be an honorable mention for me.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I think of like the snowball scene in
Oh
particular as
yeah.
just being so funny. Love that bit. Um, shoot, what's the dad's name in the
Walter
movie?
Hobbs.
Yeah, Walter Hobbs, exactly. I think he might even be just as funny as Will Ferrell. He is
Yeah.
so funny in Elf.
Peter
He's
Dinklage
got
too.
Peter Dinklage is great in it. Shout out John Favreau. He's in the scene for one.
Yeah.
He's in the movie for one scene.
Doctor Man.
Just like honestly, if I was to think about it, it might be one of my favorite John Favreau movies, if
Oh
not my
yeah.
favorite. Like it's either that or Iron Man, but I really enjoy Elf. That's a good one.
Really good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. My number 3 is Charlie Brown Christmas.
Hey.
I have it on vinyl. This is my favorite Christmas soundtrack of all time. I'm usually like the type of guy that isn't always blasting Christmas music around this time. I
Yeah.
tend to get kind of sick of it after a while. I love Christmas, but I'm not always listening to Christmas music. But
Agree.
the Charlie Brown soundtrack, dude, phenomenal. I could listen to that all year round. Like it is just so good. Vince Guaraldi is one of the great jazz pianists, and I don't know why they chose him to be in the Charlie Brown special, but it just fits perfectly. And you know, it's interesting because all the things I've mentioned so far have like very high production value, you know, like very good special effects, very good acting, etc. Charlie Brown Christmas special is kind of animated poorly. Like it doesn't, you can tell it was kind of cheaply made. And the voice acting, you can tell that it's just a bunch of 6-year-olds and they're not like giving the best performances ever. But in my opinion, that's a big part of the charm of it is that it is kind of it doesn't look very good or sound very good. It gives it such an authentic charm to it. It's like Peanuts. When you read the original Peanut strip, it's like it's maybe not the funniest thing in the world, but there's such a delightful charm to
Yes.
everything. You love these characters. You love Charlie Brown. You love Snoopy. You love Linus and Lucy. And this short just nails the tone of Peanuts. Like it is kind of bitter and everybody hates Charlie Brown and he's super depressed. And
Oh.
I love that aspect of it. Like everybody is just railing on Charlie Brown, hates him, and it's kind of hilarious. I love that there's such a mean spirit to this Christmas special, and I've found also that along with my favorite Christmas specials are usually people that have a change of heart. Um, my favorite Christmas stuff also kind of have a bitter spirit to them. Like it shows not just the good side of Christmas, but also the more depressing side of Christmas. Charlie Brown's Christmas special talks about the over commercialization of Christmas. It talks about people who are depressed during the holiday season. And it shows that even though there are like some bad things that happen during Christmas time, it still should be a time where we rejoice and are happy and enjoy each other's company. And I can't think of another special that kind of like nails that tone better than Charlie Brown Christmas special. Plus it's hilarious. It's got so many great
Yeah.
one-liners and everything. So love Charlie Brown Christmas special.
In such a short amount of time too, right? And one
Yeah,
other thing
no.
is, you do talk about how like there's cheap things, but I think the sound design's genuinely really good. Like the
Yeah,
plane
no, I agree.
noises is really good, and even when he's banging on the trees, like the metal trees all make a different sound that are very defined. I was like, dang, I remember those sounds more than I
Yeah.
do most other movies, which is kind of cool. And I think not a lot of people think about it, but they've made iconic noises for this little movie. You know, it's kind of a weird thought,
No,
weird
yeah.
side tangent.
I I like that it's it's a vibe completely unique to
Yeah,
itself. Like I can't think of another short or movie or whatever that has the same tone as a Charlie Brown Christmas special. So I love it. Absolutely love it.
good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, my
All
number
right.
two. You've mentioned it, and I was very vague. I didn't say much about it, but it's a Muppet Christmas Carol. That is
Hey.
so freaking
Yeah, let's go.
awesome. That might be like a Eve movie, which I think Christmas Eve is arguably I like it more than Christmas. I think it is just like the peak of anticipation and momentum and build up. It's all there at a boiling point, and that is when you watch a Muppet Christmas Carol, which is so funny, genuinely horrifying a lot of the
Yeah.
time. And I think it is the best adaptation of A Christmas Carol. Yet it
I
throws in
agree.
more jokes than any of the other adaptations, yet all of them land and none of it draws away from the seriousness of that message. And some of the comedy just as well as like the puppet design. Ghost of Christmas Presents. That's what I call him because it's funny. Dude looks so funny. And like the acting, the line delivery, the movements of just him are hilarious, but also very intimidating. Like there's another, I think the TC Christensen did a Christmas Carol where that goes to Christmas present is freaking scary. Like when he pulls open
Yeah.
the robes and it's the two starving little girls. And that scared me almost more than the Ghost of Christmas Future, which in this version is also just really scary. But I just think it's really well done, and the music like you said is really good. All of those songs are really good, and I think it's shot beautifully too. The way they create the feeling of Christmas Eve the night before, when they're skating around with the rats and like Bob Cratchit, Kermit the Frog, or even just climbing into that when they're trying to get over to the gate with all the jelly beans and whatever. Like there's just these random moments, but you're it feels like Christmas Eve. And one of the only other things I can think of that brings that charm to it, which is now another honorable mention, is the Sesame Street um Christmas special. I think that
Yeah.
that's another just really sweet one that uses puppets in a way to create that Christmas feeling, but Muppet Christmas Carol just does it the best.
Yeah, I agree. That scene with Kermit and the rat skating on the ice,
Oh,
and they sing that
or
song,
The
and then he
Office.
looks up and he sees the shooting star going past. I get chills every time I see that scene.
Yes.
The "It feels like Christmas." Oh no, that's
That's
later in the movie.
later.
But yes,
One more
regardless,
sleep till
love
Christmas is what he says.
dude. Oh man, that all the music in that movie is just peak. Like throw it on. It should be in more Christmas playlists. Why isn't that on the radio instead of
I don't
whatever the
know.
Mariah Carey song is? I love the music in the Muppets Christmas Carol movie. It's so
Oh
good.
yeah. Man, the more you talk about these, just it's so exciting. So exciting.
Yeah,
It's one of
love
those I'm gonna need
Christmas
to watch
movies.
again this year.
Me too. Me too. All right, my number two. You've already mentioned it. Love this movie to death and back, and that is The Holdovers.
We might have the same number
Now,
one. Holy cow.
I think we do have the same number one. Yeah. So The Holdovers. I There are a few movies that I have more love in my heart for than The Holdovers. I'm not gonna lie. I went to go see it in theaters when it came out, and I was expecting to like it, and I just walked away loving it. I've talked a lot about how the best Christmas specials are the ones that have a change of heart in it,
Yep.
and I just love the change of heart that happens to the main character in this movie, Paul Giamatti's character. He goes from being this very curmudgeon old man, really bitter, hates everything, kind of like a Scrooge-like character almost. But over the course of his movie, his heart softens and he becomes a lot more loving. And the sacrifice he makes towards the end of the movie, I think is just so sweet. And then the tone of this movie. Oh my gosh, I love that it's like 70s movie inspired. The film is much more like about just fun character moments than it is about advancing the plot. Because I was thinking about it, it's kind of a longer movie. It's about
Yeah.
2 hours and 20 minutes. And I was like, could they have cut some of the scenes in that movie? And I was like, they could have, but it would have taken away what makes the movie special. And that's these individual scenes between these characters that you grow to love. I think this is my favorite Paul Giamatti performance.
Yeah.
I'm in the minority maybe where I think he should have won Best Actor for it over Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer. I love him in this
I
movie.
agree. I was on my
Yeah.
mission during that year. I didn't know he was nominated for that, but I'd
Yeah.
agree.
It was my favorite performance of the year. But then I also love Divine Joy Randolph in this movie. She's also phenomenal. She's got so much heart and there's so much tragedy behind her character as well. And the kid, I can't think of his name right now, but this was the first movie that he had ever been in. He wasn't even an actor before this movie, but he just nails it. He is
Yeah.
so good in this film. And he's been in 2 other movies this year. He was in the uh, Now You See Me, Now You Don't movie, and he was in another Christmas movie. So I'm just happy. Oh, Dominic Sessa, that's his name, Dominic Sessa. He's so good in this film. And I know what our number one is going to be, but I kind of view this film as the reverse of the movie we're going to be talking about in a little bit, where that movie is about somebody who's beloved by his community and makes a big impact for his community. This movie is about the people that nobody in their community really likes. Like the people that are kind of despised, the outcasts, the rejects, the hated people. And I love that it shows that these people deserve a happy Christmas together just as much as anybody else. I think that's really lovely. So, Holdovers is my number 2. It's my favorite Alexander Payne film. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies ever.
Oh yeah.
Modern Christmas classic. Absolutely love it.
Okay, we started
Yeah.
this podcast because we have such different opinions and movies
Yeah.
typically, yet on both of these like widely vast topics, we've managed to have the same number one. And
Which is
I'm
crazy.
assuming it is the same one. I wonder if there's any way you're gonna throw a curveball here, but it's in my top 5 favorite movies ever, as well as it being my top favorite Christmas movie, and that is It's a Wonderful Life.
That's mine too.
Yep. I don't understand how this came to be. It's so freaking good. But what gets me every time is I feel that we, as human beings, all have a desire to be great and to go out there and be remembered and to travel the world. And some of us get to do that. But more often than not, life happens. There are things, curveballs that are unexpected. The Christmas season, as we're getting to the end of the year, we remember a lot of those curveballs that came throughout the year, as well as those good moments that we weren't really expecting. And I think It's a Wonderful Life captures life in general. And it takes those big dreams and all of those things, and yet it shows that there are really, really good people in here that when presented some of the opportunities, when they're presented everything that they've ever wanted, they ultimately put those things aside to help other people, whether it's family members, other friends, and it really makes me question. It's like, what is the most worth we can find in life? Is it going out there and exploring the world and maybe like the career, the dream career that we want, the big ambitions, which could happen, right? I think our George Bailey is perfectly qualified to do all of the things that he wants to do, and he has the opportunity to do them. But he really understands, and he comes to understand through his life, that there is a lot more to it than, I guess, himself in a sense. And those main things being family, like community. I'd throw religion in there. I think that is a really, really big part of those movies. He understands the importance of those things and values those things, and even with those things is put in a position where he thinks it's too much. He has a night where it's incredibly difficult. It's easy to forget in moments like that, and I think everyone that's ever lived is going to have or has already had similar moments. And I think it is done really, really well, to the point where even in the end, as is the case with the entire movie, it's not pretty. It's not a perfect ending. It's not exactly what, like, everything doesn't fall, all the pieces don't fall into place, but that's not typically how life works. Yet it's still really sweet and really powerful. And I can't think of anything else that does that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on every single point that you said. It's such a relatable film. I mean, who doesn't have ambitions and feel like they aren't meeting them and feel like a disconnect between what you want to be doing with your life between but also what you're actually doing. Another thing that I don't think a lot of people like talk about when talking about this movie is that this is a movie about suicide.
Yep.
Like this is a movie about a person who is on the verge of taking their own life and needing to remember why it is a wonderful life, why they should be living the life that they're living and enjoying it. And I talked earlier that a lot of my favorite Christmas movies have a darker edge to them.
Yeah.
That's this movie to a T. This is about a guy who feels like his life is a failure. And I love that it recontextualizes not only George Bailey's life, but our own life to help us reevaluate that the small interactions that we have with people and the sense of community we have is just as important as our ambitions and just as fulfilling as those things. Just so beautiful. Then I also like to shout out Jimmy Stewart
Yeah.
because I really think this might be like maybe top one performance in any movie ever. I love Jimmy Stewart in this movie. He's so endearing and charming, and he's got so many great quirks. But there's so much emotion behind everything that he does, and I can't think of a single other performance that has more emotion attached to it than this one does. It like you said, it's not just the best Christmas movie ever made. It's like one of the best movies ever
Yeah.
made. It is a true classic. I watch it every year, and every year I think, oh, okay, yeah, this is the best. This is perfect. This is masterful. So love It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the iconicness of so many of the scenes, like dancing on the pool floor when it opens
Yeah.
up, or you want the moon? I'll get you the moon. Um, but even just like being on the bridge in one of, it's a scary moment, and it's sad to see because you, like a lot of the extras or the other characters, recognize that George is a really good person. But I think it's so sad to see that he's gotten to a point where he no longer can see that, or he no longer can feel that. And I think you as the audience so desperately want to let him know, like, dude,
Yeah.
you're awesome, like, we're rooting for you. But it gets scarier and scarier the more he distances himself from people, like the people that he's been surrounding himself with his whole life, and being a part of their lives. The more he distances himself from them leading up to the scene in the bridge is really horrifying, because you don't know what's going to happen to him. And the farther away from people he gets, the less likely he's going to get help.
Yeah.
And so, like, the angel being there is big, and then obviously he shows him what would it be like if you weren't there. What are these small impacts that you've had on a lot of people? And that brings me to another point, another character that I think isn't overlooked, but I think there's a lot of interesting discussion that can be had with, and that is his wife.
Hmm.
Um, like when he's going through like a lot of these hard moments, like she's there pretty much by herself. Like she had these dreams too, and we focus on how that gets taken away from George, but they were also kind of taken away from her. And she's like
Yeah.
raising a family that he is not always there to be helping for a reason. Like he's carrying the city on his back in a sense, but it's crazy to think of what she's going through and like how strong she is in those moments. And I think that like she is a very inspiring character in my eyes, and that's kind of something I've picked up over the years is how cool I think she is. Um, and Potter
Yeah.
as well as a villain. Holy cow. One of the
Yeah.
scariest
Well,
villains I've ever seen.
one of the best villains
Yeah.
ever. I was gonna piggyback off of what you were saying, and I can't think of another movie. Especially, it's not a very long movie. I think
Hmm.
it's only like an hour and 45 minutes, or maybe 2 hours. I can't think of another movie that builds up a more rich community than
Yeah.
this one, where it's like every single side character in this movie is iconic, is interesting, is fun. You want to hang out and be with them more. And so by the end scene, when they all come together, you really like, I love every single one of these community
Yeah.
members. Can you think of another movie that has like a community, or can you think
Well,
of
it's
another movie
funny
that has a
because
community built up like that?
Endgame does that not as good, and it took 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, it's so special seeing all these characters come together to help out this man that you've grown to love.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can really think of, and you're gonna laugh at this, where I feel like it does build up a community like this, where you just grow to love this town, is Twin Peaks by David Lynch.
I actually haven't
It's just
seen
like
it,
every
so
single character. Yeah, I think you'd actually like it. It's kind of similar in tone to this, and David Lynch loves this movie, and I can see why. He loves movies about suburbia and about warmth in amidst the darkness of
yeah.
outside forces, and that's this movie to a T. So not just the best Christmas movie ever, but one of the best movies ever.
Yep.
Point blank, period. Love It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah. So
Can't be
okay.
topped.
Can't be topped.
I don't think it ever will.
Holdovers my number 2. I love, it's like a 10 out of 10 movie for me, but I don't think it's as good as It's a Wonderful Life. That's a perfect movie.
Yep.
So yeah. Cool. Any last words you'd like to say for this Christmas special, Elliot?
I don't. Not much. I think movies are just super special for Christmas time.
Yeah.
I think it's what makes it adds to Christmas. As much as people will say like Christmas is commercialized or don't focus on those other things, but I do think movies are one of those things that can add to the spirit of Christmas. If you look at it the right way, just like music can, or traditions definitely can, and movies can be those traditions. So shout out
Yeah,
Christmas
no, I agree.
movies. I have a hard time imagining the Christmas season without them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think
Can you
they're
imagine Christmas season without like Charlie Brown, or without How the Grinch Stole Christmas, or any of those other? It's hard for me to even imagine. That would be kind of depressing.
it
They're
would.
so entangled with the spirit of the holidays. So yeah.
One other shout out I had, and I found out about this year. I was kind of like into filmmaking. One of our professors is from the United Kingdom, and every Christmas time, they do kind of like the Super Bowl here in the America, where they have a lot of commercials. Except
Mhm.
instead of like rowdy, like marketing, honestly not even funny anymore commercials, they're all Christmas commercials. It's like a big competition between everyone. So I don't know if you saw that old commercial where it's like the trenches of World War One, and on Christmas Day they.
Yeah.
So that was for Sainsbury, a supermarket up there. But this year the commercials were really good, and we went through a lot of them. My favorite one is a guy named Phil, and Phil's wife has died, and it's really sad. And he's like, I just don't think I could ever find love again. And they're like, oh man, but didn't you always say like if you ran into Keira Knightley or something, could probably find love? And he's like, yeah, it's never gonna happen though. The next day at the grocery store, he runs into Keira Knightley. And then him and Keira Knightley go on this epic romantic adventure, and I was dying. Also, Keira Knightley, I'm ready. Like, you want to visit the United States? I will make pies for you better than Phil. But I thought it was really well shot. There's another one with like a record, like a son gives a record to his dad, and it is brilliantly shot, but it's also like incredibly emotional for 60 seconds. So in that vein of movie making, I think that's a tradition I'm gonna have now every year, is watching through these commercials. I'd highly recommend to all 4 people out there listening, or to you, David, to check some of those out, because I think they're really heartwarming, and they're really good because they're trying to sell a product, yes, but I think they're also trying to be good messages for the
Yeah.
Christmas spirit. And that's something really special. I just didn't know was a thing, but it's a thing, and you should all check it out.
I'll check it out. I do love that World War One
Yeah.
trailer that you were talking about. That one's fantastic. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, I hope everybody who's listening has a very Merry Christmas,
Yes,
Happy
indeed.
Holidays, whatever you celebrate. And we are going to be doing one more episode, maybe at the end of this year or towards the beginning of next year,
Yeah.
where we do our top 10 favorite things that have come out this year, I guess.
I'd say
or, like,
stories.
top 10
Stories, narratives.
top 10 favorite stories.
Yeah.
So make sure to tune into that next episode. But you guys have a very Merry Christmas.
Peace.
Peace. Bye-bye.
Joy to the world.
Okay.